Welcome to another episode of Cooking with Ramas. Today I decided to bring my talents to the city of San Antonio, spend time with my cousin Salim and his beautiful wife Patricia, and I decided to cook Lomo Saltado. Now for those of you that don't know, I'm half Peruvian and I wanted to do something traditional, something from my heritage, and this is my favorite meal, my favorite Peruvian meal. So let me talk about the ingredients a little bit. So first thing you want to start with, you want to get skirt steak. You can use fajita steak if you want, but skirt steak is going to be your best option. And also you need, everything I do is from scratch, as you already know. So we peeled and cut some russet potatoes into french fries, and we're having it soaking in water until we're ready to cook it. Also rice that's being soaked in water as well to clean it up before we cook it. And now the ingredients also consist of, you need olive oil, soy sauce, white vinegar, but you can use any vinegar you want. It doesn't have to be white vinegar. Black pepper. Red pepper is an option. We're gonna use it because we do like things a little bit spicy. Ground cumin, and of course paprika. Now, the vegetables that you're gonna use, the ones you really need are tomatoes and red onions, but you can add other vegetables that you like. We like bell pepper, so we're gonna go ahead and throw that in it too. You need garlic and cilantro. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna prep everything. Now, my cousin's wife is vegan, so we're gonna take we're gonna take the skirt out. We're gonna substitute it for tofu, and we already have it marinating, so it'll be ready to go whenever the meal's done. So what we're gonna do next is prep everything, and then we'll be back. All right, so I've prepped all that I need to get prepped. The vegetables are cut and they're prepped, ready to go. The meat is cut and ready to go. So we cut against the grain and about, bite-sized pieces. Now what we gotta do is marinate this. What we're gonna use is a couple tablespoons of olive oil. We're just gonna kind of measure it out. That's good, okay. We're gonna use about a tablespoon of ground cumin. Okay, and another tablespoon of paprika. Maybe a little more. Paprika is what really gives it its flavor. Okay. Ground pepper, or it doesn't have to be ground pepper, but if you have ground pepper, that's best. But we can use regular pepper, doesn't matter. We're just gonna kind of coat it. Okay. Now, we do like spicy over here, so we're gonna add this. Remember, this isn't a necessity, but we're gonna throw a little bit of red pepper, crushed red peppers in here, just to give it a little spicy kick. Okay, that should be good. And we're gonna let that marinate, we'll mix it up, but I wanna show you how I cut the vegetables as well. So the tomatoes are gonna be cut in this shape. Okay, you want it to be cut like this. Same with the onion. Okay, and remember we're adding the red bell pepper, and we're gonna cut it that way. We cut our cilantro, and we have our garlic. Our garlic is also gonna be added to the meat. And about 2 to 3 cloves will be good. Okay. Okay. And we already have the fries cooked, and these are gonna be added to the dish later and cooked again. So once we have all this marinated for a little bit, we're gonna move it over to the skillet and cook it. And of course, I forgot one really important ingredient, and that's a topo chico from the mountains of Monterrey, Mexico. You need this, trust me. All right, so we're gonna cook the meat next, and what you wanna do is you wanna put a little bit of olive oil in the pan and cook it on high heat first, all right? And we're gonna take the meat and we're gonna put it inside the pan, and you wanna keep it separate. I'm gonna go ahead and dump it in here, but I'm gonna separate it once I have it in here so that it cooks evenly. Okay, so just spread it out. Okay, and the reason why we cook it on high heat is because it'll caramelize the meat better that way. Okay, so we're gonna let that cook. Once it's done cooking, I'll get back to you and we'll add the vegetables. Okay, so once you have the meat cooked evenly on both sides, you're gonna add the onion. Okay, we add the onion before the tomato because we don't want the tomato to cook as long. Okay, so we're gonna do that and mix it in here. And then we'll add the tomato. Next, we're gonna add the bell pepper. Now remember, the bell pepper is not a necessity. It's not really part of the dish, but my cousin really likes bell pepper. So I said, okay, we'll go ahead and we'll do that. So we're gonna let that cook for about 3 minutes more, and then we're gonna add the tomato. So the last vegetable we're gonna add is the tomatoes. The reason why that's last is because you don't want them to get too soggy, too soft, okay? So once we add the tomatoes, you wanna lower the heat down to low heat, okay? Remember that. Lower the heat down, okay? We're gonna mix that in there, and then we're gonna add the last three ingredients, the soy sauce, the vinegar, and then the French fries. Oh, and cilantro. This separate one is cooking for Patricia. She is vegan, so we're having her own separate dish being cooked, and she's gonna add the tofu last because tofu's already soft. It doesn't need to cook that long, okay? So we have this going. You're gonna add about 4 tablespoons of soy sauce. That's probably about good right there. And 2 to 3 tablespoons of vinegar. Okay, we're gonna mix that together, okay? And you're gonna let that cook. I'm gonna let this cook for a couple minutes and then add the fries. All right, so the last 2 ingredients you wanna add at the very end is the French fries. Kind of dump it in there. I say French fries, but you know what I mean. Cooked fries, cooked potatoes, and cilantro. And you're just gonna sprinkle it, and it does bring flavor to the dish, but it's also for garnish looks, okay? And we're just gonna let that cook on top. And remember, the heat is low. And now it's just up to you, depending on how much you want it cooked. And that's pretty much it. So the next step is to put it on a plate and try it. All right, so finished product, okay? You can see the presentation is very important. So you can get like a bowl, put your rice in it so you can shape the rice. You put a little bit more cilantro on top, and now we're gonna try a bite. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a little bit of rice, a little bit of meat, a little bit of onion, okay? A little bit of potato. Let's see if I can grab it here. Bell pepper. Let's see what it tastes like. I did it again, ladies and gentlemen. Tastes just like it's from back home. Now, I want to say, this meal does not take long. When you cook it, probably about 30 minutes to prep, 30 minutes to cook. Very good, pretty healthy. I highly recommend it. One more last thing I'd like to add. The San Francisco 49ers play the Super Bowl tomorrow, and they're gonna win. And for all you haters that are doubting my team, I can't wait to speak to y'all tomorrow. Have a good night.